You already know every time you click on one of my videos, I'm gonna help you regulate your nervous system. I'm gonna make you breathe, okay? You have had a hectic day running around. You need to come back to yourself and just take a moment to just relax, okay? Relax. That's currently what I'm working on myself as well. So anyways, hey guys, welcome back to another mother freaking video. Today, as you can see by the title, I'm gonna help you out a little bit when it comes to finding your soul's purpose, or how to start aligning with your soul's purpose, right? Because a lot of us are just sitting on this freaking planet, on this earth, just feeling like we have no purpose, feeling like, what am I supposed to be doing? Feeling like there's so many things that I can do, and you're giving yourself a whole headache. You're like, what am I meant to do here? Things like that. And trust me, I had a lot of questions myself. And I'm going to tell you what I did to have an idea. But before you fully tune into this video, go all the way down to my first video so you are aware of what my channel is about. But let's just get straight into it. So, a lot of people, right, when they think about purpose, they think about followers, they think about subscribers, they think about being in the public eye. They think of something huge, right? They think of like big things, like a big purpose, right? Like the word purpose for me has always been kind of like intimidating. I don't know why. Probably because I used to associate that as well with like stepping into something greater, right? So come to find out that literally your purpose is how you are utilizing your God-given gifts. God has instilled gifts, good traits in all of us, right? And we are here to use them, to be of service to one another, to make an impact, right? While you're navigating this human experience. So for example, for me, right? I always, and I think it's a few people out there as well, or like, I don't know how many people out there that has felt the pull in their spirit since they were younger, that they were meant to live an impact. I've always felt the want and the need to help other people, right? Based on my experiences, I would always gravitate towards, leaning towards like the mental health topic, just because of the things that I've been through, like depression, anxiety, and everything that starts in the mind. A lot of the things that come down to the physical, it's a product of your mind, like people's behaviors, everything, how they are behaving, the reality, it's a product of their mind. So a lot of the times, the things that I've been through were due to internal conflicts, just like a lot of us. But I used that, when I was like around 17, about to leave high school, I bought myself a camera and I was like, I'm not really doing this to be a YouTuber, although I always thought it was kind of cool. I'm doing this basically for myself. The reason why I even started a channel is because I wanted to heal my problem with being perceived. I used to be that quiet introvert person, and I feel like I just needed to learn that. And right now, currently, I'm actually proud of myself because I feel like I'm mastering, I've been getting rid of the external validation stuff, like putting yourself out there. If you have the same problem, put yourself out there. Just start to put yourself out there. It doesn't matter if you're not perfect at it. It doesn't matter what people think. When you start doing things for your own good, for your healing, it's like it creates a good effect. Like it's actually, I feel like it's one of the lessons that my soul knew it needed to master. And throughout time, that's what I've been doing. When I did start my channel back in like 2020, 2019, I would always make it about how can I be of service? Like, how can I help other people? So my topics and the things that I would speak about would be around, mental health and my own experiences. When it comes to aligning to your soul's purpose, right? And I mentioned that we all have God-given gifts, right? That God wants us to utilize. Basically, you have to have some time of solitude on your own. Self-reflect. Grab a journal, right? And write down the good traits that you see within yourself. Because a lot of the times, you want to see always the bad in you. No, honey. God has instilled, you have good characteristics. You have to write them down And also write down the things that you've heard people compliment you on. For example, people have complimented me on me just being very inspirational whenever people come to me for advice. I'm able to give good advice to other people. Motivational speaker kind of person. You know, I'm able to uplift others with the things that I say. So I'm like, with that one trait, right? I can expand it into making a channel. I can expand it into writing a book. I can expand it into more further on content creation. I can expand it on different things. Like, for example, right? Let's say you are working a 9 to 5 and you're a teacher. You know that you work well with kids. Hopefully you do. Not I'm playing. You work well with kids, right? You're a very nurturing person. You are a mother as well. So let's say you want to expand that, right? And you don't want to work anymore. You can literally be like, you know what? In the meantime, while I'm working, I'm going to start writing children's books. I already know what kids like. I'm around kids a lot of the times. I read to them. Like, I'm gonna start to become an author, and then I'm gonna leave that job and just, you know, like, you can expand. I'm not saying, you know, a lot of people have this idea of like, you got to get out of the matrix. You need to stop working for people. I feel like people that are in the matrix, right? Because I believe the matrix is really inside of yourself. It's all your limiting beliefs, every fear, every lesson that you know you need to face, everything that you've been running from. That's the matrix. Everyone is living their own reality, right? So I do believe that God wants us, you know, if you don't want to work under nobody, if you don't want to work for somebody else, you can expand your God-given gifts and work for yourself. Make a business out of your own gifts, right? Like I said, you're a teacher working for somebody else, working for a school. You can expand that gift and you're like, you know what? I'm going to move out of it. I'm going to start an Etsy shop about, you know, something that has to do with school and kids. Something that has to do, I'm going to become an author. I'm expanding those gifts, right? You can do whatever you want with the gifts that God has given to you. But hopefully you're doing it to leave a good impact, because we need that. All the answers are within you. If you're at a place right now where you don't know what to do, right? Use what God has already instilled within you. And that's literally the energy of abundance. And remember, you have more than one good trait that God has instilled with you, right? You might be a person that can also make other people laugh, you know? Right now, you might be actually in your soul's purpose, right? It's not about followers. It's not about subscribers. It's not about the money even, actually. Because that's more of an ego kind of like led thing. When things are more spirit led and you know it's more like there's more truth to it and it's actually aligned with God, it's when the ego is not actually ruling it. You're not doing this because money, me. You're doing it for people, being of service. How can I make an impact? How can I help? How can I leave my mark here? How can I influence in a positive way? That's how you know you're aligned with God. So you might actually be that person right now that whenever you clock in and you're at work, like, you are able to brighten other people's days by making jokes. You meet a stranger outside and they love your energy because you are able to make them laugh easily. You can use that trait that you have right now and start to make a profit from it by expanding your gifts, right? Start with one thing and then move up, you know? But that's why I'm telling y'all, focus on yourself and do the internal work. Get to know yourself. Journaling has actually helped me a lot for that. I think honestly, no one showed me to journal. Ever since I was younger, I like to write as well. I actually, whenever I have experiences, almost all the experiences that I had in my life, I'll literally grab my laptop and I go in documents, and from an experience that I've had, I like to journal it out. I feel like later on I might become an author as well. I don't know. You know, I do want to expand because I know that Like I said, there's not only one thing that I want to influence through or by. Like I remember I went to college for psychology, right? And I was like, I already like helping people. I want to be of service. I want to make an impact. But I'm like, if I put myself out there, right? And I work on integrating my ego, right? And I'm using my gifts, I can reach more people and I can make a bigger impact, right? With more people I'm coming across, and instead of somebody having to meet me at my office and then make an appointment and then having to pay. No, you can look at this advice for free. And also know that when you start to do that, when you start to align with your soul's purpose, there's like an alert. And I know this sounds weird in the universe, right? In the world. Because you are here for a very unique and specific purpose. A lot of people, y'all are having low self-worth right now, and y'all don't know, like, you are needed in this time. But once you start to walk, even if you don't see, even if you feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna be sacrificing a lot, but I feel called to do this, right? And you're doing a jump of faith right now, just know that later on, everything will start to move slowly, especially if you are very focused and you're like determined to align with what you came to do here on earth, why God placed you here on earth. You start to focus on that, God is going to help you out. God is going to move mountains for you. You're going to start, progressing. It's going to start slow, right? But everything later on, you start to get aligned with opportunities, people, but you have to be patient. Don't just expect to be like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm going to be a business owner. And from one business, you're going to know. It starts slowly. You have to enjoy the journey. And remember that it's about getting to know yourself. A lot of people speak on internal work. I know you heard a lot of people speaking in the spiritual community about internal work and focusing, because that's literally what aligns you with everything that you want, because your soul already knows what it wants and it's waiting for you to act on it. But as long as you're being authentic, as long as you're being truthful, and as long as you're actually being of service and making a good influence, a good impact. Of course, you can work for God or you can work for the other side. I'm choosing to work for God, which is going to come slowly, but it's going to be more rewarding. The thing I love about realizing your gifts and tapping into your God-given gifts is that you get to, a lot of people I feel like fear their potential. They actually know, like I know some people that actually know what they want to do, and it's like, dang, I want to do this, but it requires me to face a part of myself. Like a lot of people, sometimes their gifts will get unlocked whenever they overcome a lesson, whenever they integrate a fear that they have. They start to integrate their ego more. Like for example, for me, like I said, mine was external validation and the fear of being seen and judgment and all that. But now that I've been integrating that and working on that, I feel like later on, now that I'm already doing this, like it's going to be a whole lot better. I'm going to be way more comfortable whenever God, expands me and I'm able to, and I stepped into other things, right? Because just because I'm doing this, I don't feel like that's just solely my purpose to be an influencer and just post things online. I feel like it's a greater, bigger impact later on, as long as I continue to choose my alignment, as long as I continue to choose to stay focused on myself and do the work. It's everything around you and the things that you're meant to attract. It's all based on the internal work. So remember that your inner state reflects your outer state, the reality that you're experiencing right now. And I do believe that money flows to people more easily when they are focused on, just impact. And that's why I love connecting with or meeting other people that are into like music, making music, content creation, making something, because you literally get to be your own, like you literally get to experience being more of the main character in your own reality in this life, because you're the one who's making the calls, you're the one who's Of course, it's more effort. Yes, it can be a little intimidating at first, but it's honestly, it's empowering as well, because you're confronting like, dang, am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to be able to make it? Like, you just gotta, it's a bit more challenging, but I feel like the greater the challenge, the greater the reward. And the more, like I said, you're integrating your soul lessons, because especially for me, like, I'm not really doing, a lot of people might say like, oh, she's posting now because she wants subscribers and followers. Like, baby, I'm focused on mastering and integrating my lessons so I can align myself more and move the fuck up to more levels, you know, because that's what really is about. Like I said, your soul came here to master levels and literally overcome fears. The more you overcome your fears, right, which is just tied to your ego, that's why you see a lot of your favorite influencers. Do you think they got to where they're at, right, by being fearful, by staying limited, by being wrapped with their limiting beliefs? No, they were like, oh, I'm jumping in. And they might have been scared for a minute, but they were like, I'm gonna launch myself. And there they go. They did it. They made it. So yeah, y'all, that's what I recommend. Start to look within and start to journal, get to know yourself, start to write down and recognize. This is a good way to also self-reflect. Write down the good traits that God has instilled with you. Whenever you meet people, what they compliment you on, you know, the most, and how you can utilize that to be more of service in the way that you can expand. And the more you do that, the more you will align yourself with your soul's purpose. Also, talk to God. Go to your creator. God will start to align you as well. But anyways, hope you guys like this tips, like this advice, this video. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on my next one.